right, today is Tuesday, January 10th, 2023, and this is an interview with Pat Kitto at her home at 7802 Waxhaw Highway. My name is Kirsten Messinger, and I'll be the interview. So to start off, real simple, when did you come to Waxhaw and what brought you here?
We've been here 3 times.
Oh, okay.
I was just getting ready to go out there and subtract to make sure. My son said that we came here in 75, but we've been here, like I said, 3 times. My husband was at the knitting mill, and uh, 3 different times, that's all I can say. The first time wasn't good. It just got better and better. And now all the knitting mills are gone.
That is true. That is true. What can you tell me about the mill from now? So you came and then you left, and then you'd come back each time. Did you?
No, we're from California.
Okay.
Southern California. His father was plant manager of Catalina Swimsuits.
Okay.
So he learned the knitting business really young, and we just went to other states.
Oh, okay. All right.
You know, but if you can cut out anything, right, that I've said that you don't want to, because we worked in, we moved to upstate New York. We've lived in Massachusetts, lived in Florida for a little while, but always in the knitting business.
And so every time you came back, it was always for the same mill?
Yes.
Was it for the same company?
No, I don't remember who the first people were, but then another group bought out Elisa Mills.
Okay.
No, I would, I was busy raising children, but I did work there for a little while. My husband never wanted me to go to work. Very, very nice ladies. When you go into any type of a mill where there's a sewing section, the ladies are very, very nice, and they all have very good backgrounds, and things happened in their life where they had to go to work. So, and we've lived here in this house, I think, 50 years.
Oh, wow, okay.
Put a ton of money in it. But, no, we were offered, we had a knitting mill right across from the bank.
Okay.
It used to be American Bank and Trust. And it was a recession, and we were offered 16 acres for $30,000. No down payment, no carrying charges.
Oh, wow.
So my family lives behind me.
Oh, nice, nice.
So ask me something that's not about me. It has to be about town. It's, that whole strip across 16 that's vacant now?
Yes.
Okay, there was a gas station there. Then our knitting mill.
Okay.
And then Blackburn's restaurant. You know, the girl that has that gives so much back to the town, that's at the end of town across from 701 Main.
No, but
it's a secondhand shop.
Oh, yes, yes.
Her grandmother was the mayor of Waxhaw one
okay.
time. And they owned Blackburn's restaurant.
Oh, wow.
So then there was a vacant space, and then there was a beauty parlor at the end. I love what they've done with it, making a parking lot.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, so that spot right there, now I know what you're talking about.
Pardon me?
I now connected where in town you were talking about.
Okay.
So.
There was nothing else here when we moved here.
Well, yeah, by the time you arrived, Waxhaw was kind of building itself back up again.
Not yet. No, it was way before that.
Yeah.
It was way before that, and this probably isn't pertinent to this, and you can cut anything out that you want, right?
Yeah,
the bead merchant?
Yes.
She and her husband have had that place for years, and I was just thinking the other day, he died, he was my middle son's age. Wonderful people. They did a lot of wonderful things in town, and I looked in this container that I have, and all the earrings that she's made me.
Oh.
No, she's just a lovely lady. There wasn't anything in town. Maxwell's restaurant used to be Maxwell's grocery store.
Oh, okay.
I didn't drive when we moved here, so we had there was a real fancy mobile home at Elisa, and so my daughter and I would walk down to the end where that secondhand place is. That was Simon Rogers grocery store. Every Thursday the meat came in, so we'd be there Thursday, for some fresh meat.
Oh,
And Maxwell's was a great big grocery store, and if I remember rightly, way in the back, see, there's another big room behind there.
Mm-hmm.
And they even had tires in there for sale. And I mean, ask me some questions.
Well, talk more about downtown Waxhaw. When you first came here, what was there? Was you were talking about the grocery stores? Did you do most of your shopping there, or did you have to travel to Charlotte or Monroe?
We did, yeah. We shopped in Monroe. There was nothing on 521. 521 was a 2-lane road, and there was only one light on it in somebody's home. That's only one light. And going up, coming down 16, the first time that we came down, I wrote my mother in California and told her that it was the most beautiful. It was the most beautiful road I'd ever been on.
Oh wow!
They had all of these ponds and all of this green grass and nice little homes that people built themselves.
Was it still farm?
Yes, there was nothing here when we first moved here. Nothing. Yes, if you wanted some, we did anyway. This was even before South Park was thought of. Downtown Monroe was a wonderful place to shop. They had really good shoes. They had better shoes than Hollywood, because I flew into Hollywood one time, and for some reason I looked at the shoes. They had nicer shoes here.
Oh wow!
Monroe was a thriving place and a wonderful place to shop.
Excellent.
They had 2 or 3 5 and 10s, but anyway, getting back to Waxhaw. The people that worked at the mill the second time we came back found us a house to rent on Olin Drive. So I got to know all those people.
Yeah.
And all the women were just very, very nice. But I can't, everything across the street on Main Street that's built up now, a lot of those were just empty. And do you know about the old hotel?
Yes. I mean, that there was an old hotel.
No,
Beyond that, nothing.
It's still there. Shell Holston bought it years and years ago. She was an airline stewardess. I remember when we first moved here, it was a hairdresser's place. My daughter and I would get our hair done there.
Oh, nice.
And it's always, it has a great big, when you go upstairs in the old hotel, well, downstairs also, there's a huge wide hallway with rooms on either side. And when you go upstairs and you look out the front, you can see the whole town.
Oh, neat.
It was just, and you'd be lucky to find one car on the road. So, ask me something.
All right, let's see. Well, we did have someone that was interested in knowing about the mill houses.
There's some of them are still there.
Okay.
Auto House that's back in there. They did have. Well, the first time we were here, I didn't know anything about a mill house. So my daughter and I were taking a walk because there were I'd say maybe there were 6 or 7 houses back there. And there was a man outside on his porch shaving. So I was so embarrassed. No. So that's why out in my kitchen, what they had, you can see it, a little metal thing with a little mirror in it, and then all their shaving equipment down in here. Mm-hmm. So I only found 2, but I started collecting those because that's what he was doing. We just turned around and walked back and let him. There weren't that many mill houses, even the first time that we lived here.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
But a Fox's Pizza?
Yes.
That used to be someone's home. She worked at the mill, if I remember correctly. She was super nice.
Oh, okay.
And I forget what went in there after, after she moved or passed away.
Well, what would you say is your favorite Waxhaw memory? And if you have more than one, you can tell more than one. But what is something that would define your time here?
Oh my goodness. We've moved so many times. I can't, I'd really have to
sit and think.
Think about that because I love Waxhaw. That's all I can say is I love Waxhaw. There's really no. I could tell you some funny things that happened at the mill.
Yeah, let's hear them.
Honest?
Yeah.
So we had our own business in California and other places. So he let me finally go to work at Elisa because my kids were all in school. And the lady that sat next to me, there's a man in there who takes care of your machines if you have a problem, but normally you don't have any problems, you just sew. But she would take her machine all apart, and I always thought that was so funny that nothing stopped her. And then she had a farm out on 521, and I couldn't believe, she had a garden, I should say a large garden.
Okay.
In California, Southern California, you had to water. No, she didn't water, and she still had the garden. But I just couldn't get over her taking that machine apart. And then we moved somewhere else.
Yeah, amazing.
But the ladies in the mill, any place where I've worked in a mill, the women are working there because their husband died, and they don't have a choice.
Right.
And I've worked with a lady one time that her husband was in the Boston Symphony.
Oh wow.
It's just some really nice people. So ask me another question.
Well,
I can't really answer that one.
No, you're giving some great insight. I love it. I really appreciate it.
No, I mean, I told you how we got this property.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because there was a recession.
Yeah. I mean, good timing for you.
Well, I wasn't too happy about it.
Oh, really? Why not?
What was I going to do with 16 acres?
You didn't want to have a large garden yourself?
I'm a gardener, but not vegetables.
Yeah.
No, but two of my sons and a granddaughter live behind me. And so the son that lives up there, he could tell you a lot of bad things. But I don't believe in doing that.
Yeah. That's fine.
He has, somebody deeded over this bridge. It's the most gorgeous thing. It's a big oval, and the train goes over it,
Mm-hmm.
and it's all brick.
Oh.
And it's on his property, but the other side is on somebody else's property. And when they bought their property, they deeded their side to Michael, because he'll take care of it. All the brick came from Mineral Springs. It's the most gorgeous thing you've ever seen.
Oh, are you able to walk down to see it, or?
I've walked down there, but I would still go down there. But
well, I'm just saying, not now, but like
no,
can the general public walk down to see it?
No.
Okay, then never mind.
Well, what the people can do that were from here is that they can walk on the other on somebody else's property and follow the railroad track down.
Oh, okay.
But it's It's way back there, but it's absolutely gorgeous. I wish I had a picture of it.
Oh, I bet. Well, can I go back to when you were working at the mill, in that brief stint that you were there? What were you doing?
Sewing.
Sewing? Okay.
They were making sweaters.
Oh, neat. Okay. Now, I'm a beginner sewer. And so to me, I have to sit and focus when I sew. I imagine the ladies that were sewing were a little more could you socialize while you were sewing?
It's piecework. The faster you sew, the more money you make.
Oh, okay.
All piecework. And
so you didn't necessarily want to have a conversation.
Are
while
you
were
recording
working.
this right now?
Yes.
Well, can you turn it off and let me just say something truthfully, just for a second?
Yeah. Yep, we're good.
All right. So you were saying about the one policeman.
We had the one policeman. He was a really nice person, and I think that at the beginning, I think he came on maybe the second time that we lived here.
Okay.
I don't really, Michael would remember, but Michael would be telling you things that men talk about.
Yeah.
He was a really nice person. We were very fortunate to have him. And it was years before we had more police officers in town. And one of the best policemen is, I can't think of his name.
What made him the best, though?
Because he really liked me. Vic Montalvo.
Oh, yes.
He is one of the nicest people you will ever meet. And I've met his whole family. I think he was a policeman in New York, because quite a few people came down here after 9/11 and made their home here.
Yeah.
And I don't know what else to say.
Okay, well, I'll switch subjects then. To focus on your kids a little bit, where did they go to school?
Parkwood.
Okay. Did they like it? Did they enjoy this? Because Parkwood's kind of a drive.
That's strange. Maybe you're going to have to, you can leave that on, but you're going to have to cut it out. Sherry was so unhappy here that my husband drove her back. She was so far behind. She's a PhD now.
Oh, good for her.
She's a scientist. I'm not going to bother to answer it. They'll give up after a while. He had to drive her all the way back up to upstate New York to the school up there because she was so far behind. And Stephen was young. My oldest son, he was already, I don't remember if he ever lived, yeah, he did live here the first time.
Okay.
But he went to school in Florida.
Okay.
Yeah, it was kind of a rough for the kids at school. But since, across where the alternative school is, across from the library,
Yes.
that was the grammar school.
Okay.
They had a great big yard out there for the kids. So I'm sure that Stephen, my youngest one, went there. I think it was just probably 1 through 6.
Okay.
And then you know about the library.
I don't. I mean, I know the library where it is now, but...
The women's club got us that library.
Oh, nice.
And now, they don't care about, nobody politically cares about Waxhaw. Union County is the richest county in all of North Carolina. And so they're putting that library up there at Curitan.
Yes.
And so I'm the one that started the used bookstore.
Oh, well, tell me about that. How and why and...
A friend and I couldn't, see all the books. My grandmother was from England, and she had, when they moved to Canada from England, she brought all her books with her, and she started a library in Canada.
Oh, wow.
So then when they moved to Los Angeles, I think just before the Second World War.
Mm.
Her bedroom was really, really big, and it was wall-to-wall books.
Oh, wow.
And I don't know where I got that, because look at all of the stuff that my kids are going to have to get rid of. But they're not doing anything for Waxhaw.
Mm.
Something needs to be done for Waxhaw. There's no interlibrary loaning. I was lucky to get this book.
Okay.
But anyway, the Women's Club, I just pray that we can keep a library down here, because where my sons argue with me, they don't go to the library. I see all of the people and the little kids walking in there. A lot of them, their parents are probably, there's a lot of housing back in there.
There is, yeah.
And, well, like I said, we used to live on Olin Drive years ago, but then a friend of mine took me through, she lives in there on Olin Drive now, and she took me for a ride, and I was just amazed at how far back the houses go in there.
It just keeps going, yeah.
Yes, that was all just woods.
Oh, okay.
I mean, there was no park here when we moved here.
Huh.
There was no park in Monroe.
Was there any sort of green space where people would gather, or is that a modern take on towns?
I'm not going to really answer that, because it puts me in a bad spot.
That is fine.
You know, I'm not trying to compare Los Angeles with here. Trust me, I'm not. But we had a monstrous library before the Second World War. It was 5 blocks from, it was monstrous. And libraries are so, if your children don't read, it's really, really bad.
It is. They'll struggle. Mm-hmm.
It's, so no, you know, I was surprised when we had that little tiny library, but we always used it. And then sometimes, like I said, there was no interlibrary loaning, so Sherry was in school, so, and she wasn't old enough to drive, so my husband would drive her up to this great big library in Charlotte for her to study. And that's one of the reasons why he took her back to upstate New York, was because there was a library.
Yeah.
So, and I don't doubt one bit that we're going to lose this little library. I was in there the other day. Not this book, there was another book I picked up. There were children everywhere in there. No, but they were all so happy.
Yeah.
You know, it just really upsets me that libraries are so important.
No, I agree. But let's circle back to the used bookstore. Tell me about your involvement with that.
A friend and I've been trying to think of her name. She doesn't live here anymore.
Okay.
And but she was a real go-getter, and so that's one thing that I'd really like to have on the record. Dawn Gardner was the mayor then.
Okay.
She lives in Mineral Springs now. She came in and gave us quite a bit of money to rent the place, and we just gathered books, and now there's so many books in there that a lot of these books should be going down there. You know, no, and they don't have enough people to work there, so sometimes they're closed.
Yeah.
And see, I walked out because there's one woman who was a total, not a nice lady. And she doesn't work in there. You know, I didn't care how many days I worked in there. I loved it.
Yeah.
You know, we were always doing something. And I didn't mind being, I wouldn't now because I can't drive at night. But no, when there was something going on in town, I kept, because there was an ice cream place right next door, and they'd line up for the ice cream. Oh, that have you ever been to Bernie's Bakery?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
No, my daughter, I'm surprised I haven't gained weight because there used to be a place in Mineral Springs, but no, she spends a lot of time going into Bernie's for sweets. And I've heard, it used to be a laundromat, both of those, because that's where we did our laundry.
Oh.
My youngest son was telling me that the other day. Because before that, a long, long time ago, I have heard that was the Greyhound bus station.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been in town when the train stopped, and it was a passenger train, and there was a little brick building there that is out now on the same side of the road as the grammar school, and it's a little brick house. They moved it out there years ago.
Okay.
Do they still have that big Ola, a big pot?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, that's been moved around town by people at night several times. But it was so for me to be standing in the laundromat and see the train stop and a person get off out here in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
There used to be a shoe store across the street. Oh my gosh, he's gone. He was a wonderful person. I can't even remember his wife's name. She's still alive. She'd have a lot of information. I think I have more information because she didn't, they didn't live right in town.
Okay.
A lot of the places were closed. There weren't any businesses.
Yeah, from what I remember, antique stores became.
And then on that corner now that's kind of a parking lot, there used to be a building there. I can't remember how far out the building came, but they took it down.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then there's a house where the manager, the plant manager, the original plant manager or owner or whatever, when you go down Indian Trail Road,
Okay.
so right across from the, it used to be the fire station, but now it's a booze parlor.
Yes.
Right across the street is a great big two-story wooden house that was the plant. That house from the outside, I think that whoever lived there might have passed away because now some plants are being unglued from the walls.
Yes.
But that would be a wonderful place for the town to rebuild, or redo, and charge people money to go through it.
It is a beautiful house.
Because somebody has, somewhere in town, you're going to find people that have taken photographs of a lot of these things.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that little house, okay, you're over the tracks,
Mm-hmm.
and then there's that little house that fixed the clock shop.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
He is not a nice man. No, I would never want you to say that, but he is not, because his daughter lives with him, and she's very nice, but he always went around all day long, all year long in bikini shorts.
Oh.
And I've never, anyway, that used to be funny. You'd be out there, or a friend and I started the farmer's market.
Well, now we have to talk about that. Okay, so what all have you done for the city? You've helped start the used bookstore, and then let's talk about the farmers market.
Well, they were going to start a farmer's market, and they put it right behind a Stewart's Gallery when it was just dirt.
Okay.
And so, yes, a friend, that's probably who called me. She lives in Weddington right now. But, yeah, people wanted to sell things. A lady that lives way out where my granddaughter lives, she did a lot of canning,
Okay.
jamming that. Oh, my goodness, I couldn't even tell you how many people. It was just all the way around. And we would go in there during the week and clean up, and if there were like any roots or anything that needed to be dug up so that nobody would fall.
Yeah.
Another woman who's still a friend of mine, I don't see her often, but she made cupcakes, I think. yeah, it was wonderful because she made whatever she made was sweet, and so I got to know all four of her sons. No, that they were just little kids then. I can't even begin to tell you how many people came in with vegetables and fruit. It was yes, it was packed.
Oh wow! What year did this start? Do you know, or a rough estimate?
Geez, I don't know. I know we lived here, and I think I've lived here 50 years in this house. So I'd say if you subtract 50 years from 2023, and because I was driving, and we would go in there like a half an hour early and get everything started, and Stewart's were more than happy to have us there. And there wasn't that, where Stewart's is, they sold that other piece of land out on 16, and they have a brewery there, don't they?
16. I have to look that up.
I think it is.
Okay.
But they must have, they kind of owned, so I remember before Stewart's were there, that house, it was a restaurant. We went in there to eat one time, and the food was moldy.
Oh.
It was not a good situation. But there have been lots of, like I said about Maxwell's restaurant, I think that they are the nicest people. Really, I think all of the businesses are nice.
Yeah.
So when you go over the tracks and you see that big column,
Yes.
Yeah.
there used to be, I think she's still there. She was really nice. Well, they're all nice, but the place next door used to be a women's dress shop, and she was super nice.
Yeah.
And then the fire station was there where that brewery is,
Yes.
which I thought somebody was pulling in the driveway. Anyway, it's been everything. and the gas station at the corner up here, there was antique places everywhere. So when you're going back into town, before you go around the curve, you'll see where they just took a house out, and what it was an antique shop. They took it out overnight, and the guy that lives right across the street on the corner house, he is one of the nicest people you'll ever meet. And he sold that land next door to him for that big monstrosity.
Yeah.
Because I don't even live in town, so whenever his mother died, and he's super nice, but he's a little bit slow. I wouldn't want you to say that, but if I saw him out in the yard, I'd pull in his driveway and we'd talk. And he asked me, I mean, I don't even live in town, and he asked me, he said, "Would you have a problem if I sold that land next to me?" And his name is Mike Tyson.
Mike Tyson.
Yeah.
The Tyson family.
He is one of the nicest people. And I said, "Mike," I said, "it's none of my business what you do with your property." And it's, so then, this has been quite a while ago. I'd never see him outside anymore.
Oh.
So he has a little dog that he dresses up. But when his mother was alive, they owned that antique shop that's gone.
Okay.
But I'd love to be able to walk through there and see what I could find on the ground. But, I mean, it's none of my business. But I remember him, my daughter-in-law works at Waxhaw Insurance.
Okay.
And so, yes, they just loved Mike. Because he'd take the little dog in if it was wet out, and it had a little yellow raincoat and hat. And his mother had that antique shop. There were lots of antique shops when antiques were antiques.
Yeah. Yes.
Did you ever go in that antique shop before they
Yes.
just recently tore it down?
And Mike Tyson's, yes.
Yeah.
My daughter, well, you can tell that we like old stuff. And so my daughter, she said, she really liked that shop, but Mike's mother had everything refinished instead of just leaving it alone in the same color. So I'm just sitting here looking around. Now, like that table at the end right there, my father made that in the 40s.
That's beautiful.
It's all inlaid, and that, when you really think about it, you really have to be a mathematician
To plan it out.
to get all of those pieces in. But there were things like that, and then Chris Hefner, who's passed away, at the end of town, when you go up the hill, let me think. On the left-hand side, there's those buildings. Chris Hefner used to have a woodworking shop there. And I took him in a picture of a coffee table I wanted made, and I had the price on it with. So that's what he charged me. But that drawer goes in and out from either side. Everybody knew Chris because he had a shop also in Weddington, and then they moved down here. And so now that place will never be the same again.
True.
But that was a long time ago. And then a lot of when you're coming home and you come up over the little rise and you see those buildings where Chris Hefner had his business on the right. Right past that is a dog, where you take your dogs.
Dog grooming.
But I have a friend who used to live in that house. When we were driving by there the other day, that place is gorgeous. You have no idea how much money they've put into that place. And then right after that are those businesses in the town hall. The police, it's funny. I went to the police department once, and you can't even get in.
Oh, yeah.
Because you'd rather not have to dial 911.
Do you remember when the police department was downtown? Do you remember that?
Yes.
In the little,
yes.
In the little building?
Yes,
Yeah.
on Main Street, on that little tiny building. And I don't remember what was it before that park, but one of my son's best friends does a lot of repair work for town, and he's doing something. I think maybe he's finished now.
Keith?
Yeah. Oh, you know Keith?
Yeah, I've talked to Keith a couple times.
Are you from Waxhaw?
I'm from North Carolina. Not Waxhaw specifically, but...
Where from?
So Rowan County, so like
Yes.
Salisbury area.
Yes, but
Yeah.
you know what I love here? I love all the different names that are of towns that are so much different, and how everything has changed. How there used to be so many cotton mills. So several years ago, the vice president, my daughter and I were working out in the front yard in this entourage of cars with flags. He was coming down to the cotton mill, the only one that's left locally.
Okay.
Past Mineral Springs on the right. And for us, that was really a thrill.
Yeah.
There we are out there looking all shabby, pulling weeds.
Oh, yeah, that was Mike Pence, I think, came
Yes.
through. Yep. I remember, because that was probably, 3 years ago now. Well, when last president was in office.
Yeah, so, no, there have been a lot of important people go through here. But it was so funny. For so long, we just had the one policeman, a very nice person. I don't even know enough about the bad things that have happened. Not bad as far as the town goes. No, I think that just go ahead with another question.
Okay. What's one thing that you miss about Waxhaw when you first came versus what Waxhaw is today? Is there a particular store or just the township or?
it's getting too big.
Mm.
But you know that happens everywhere,
Yeah. Yeah.
and that doesn't bother me. We've been offered to buy some property down here on this side, but I certainly don't want. I was furious when my husband got to 16 acres. What was I going to do with 16 acres? But it's the best thing that happened because I've got my children behind me.
Yeah. Well, when you first got the 16 acres, did you do anything else with it, or did you just sit there until
We moved into this house. You have no idea what this house looked like. No, it was a scraggly old front porch, and I have pictures to prove it. Whose grandfather lived here. Her daughter she's gone now. She was my age, and even when this house was new, it wasn't painted. And that screen door, they took pictures. I must have put them away, but the daughter got the pictures from her mother and gave them to me.
Oh, nice.
The front porch was falling apart then.
Oh, wow.
You know, you have no idea what we've done to this house. My husband wouldn't know how to get in
Oh, no.
because no, there used to be 2 little closets in the dining room,
Mm-hmm.
and my husband that's where he sat to eat, and he said, "You've got to call somebody." He said, "That looks like a his and her bathroom." So this is the second time I've had that changed in there. Now it's a great big bench
Yeah.
where you can put things inside. No, people just live differently than we were used to.
Yeah.
And don't think that we ever had money. Well, we did have a house right behind Disneyland.
Oh.
We shared a well.
Oh, nice.
No, I love where I live. I love sitting out there and just watching the traffic go by. And I'm so sad that they're finished with the gas line in front of my house.
Oh gosh, yeah.
Where I sit outside, nobody can see me.
Yeah.
And no, and they're going way too fast on this road, but that's none of my business.
No. Well, other than the farmer's market and the bookstore, have you had a hand in anything else?
Yes, we had created in the Carolinas. You know where the mule barn is?
Yes.
Well, Karen started that. I don't know if Karen started it, Karen Johnson, but you saw in the dining, I make little Christmas trees. I work in boiled wool, and so she asked me if I wanted to put them in and create it in the Carolinas, which is across the street, right next to the old hotel.
Okay.
So do you know where the old hotel is?
Yes.
Okay, that man owns the restaurant that's right next to Provisions.
Okay. Yes.
And he also owns that, and he changed it, but he wasn't very nice, but that's beside the point. I was up on that roof once of that building. That would have been the most gorgeous place to have a restaurant, because you could see I love watching the trains and all the cars in town.
Yeah.
And that would have been a perfect place, but so far he has lights on it, and he did say that he was going to put Provisions out of business. That's not. No,
He's not doing a good job so far.
No, because that's where this group of women meets. The new women that we meet on. I'll be there tomorrow.
Okay.
For coffee. I mean, I leave a tip, but I don't buy anything.
No.
It's switched owners. No, I mean, there weren't very many houses in town. Did you ever hear about Haskell Ergel? Okay,
No.
Say if you're on our side of the tracks and you're going toward 521, on the left-hand side, there's a white house with black trim. Right across the street, is where Haskell lived. I would really appreciate having Haskell's name mentioned. I didn't know him for years and years. He was one of the nicest men you'd ever want to meet.
Mm.
He's done the Rose Parade.
Huh.
He had a big florist in Monroe. He had a fabulous looking yard. I've been through it. I've been through the house. He also did a lot of handwork, believe it or not. And he died a couple of years ago. And his niece is still living here. But Haskell was, you just have no idea what a lovely person he was when you got to know him.
Yeah.
Very, very nice. But he was very, I knew his, I was thinking about that the other day. I knew his sister-in-law because I worked the polls with her, the election polls. And I remember when that house right behind, when you go over the tracks on the right-hand side, where that house is, the clock shop.
Mm-hmm.
I remember before that was there.
Oh.
Feltsy Wells, she and her husband, there really weren't a lot of rules back then. And so they lived in the house where he lives, and then that was, I used to shop there all the time. I can't remember what she sold. But a lot of people, this isn't really an antique town anymore. Well, we go to the antique mart when Sherry's here.
Yeah.
But, do you think I need anything? No, I tried to hide a lot of it before you got here.
Oh, goodness.
No, it's, I'm very content here. I don't, it's a nice place to live.
It is.
I think.
Well, this Creative Carolina group, is that what?
What, I've already forgotten her name. Yes, I put my trees in there, and then,
Is it a group of local artists
yes,
that just get together?
it was a group of local artists, and this is really strange. The one lady, I'm still on Facebook with her. She did big paintings this big, and there really wasn't much room in there, and so her husband's uncle is my doctor. I mean, because you don't see that name very often. Wiesner.
Oh yeah.
No, there were all sorts of things in there, but nobody advertises correctly.
Is this shop still there?
That man bought it. No,
okay.
You can drive by there. I don't think there's anyone in there.
Okay.
Because all I remember was him saying that he was going to put Provisions out of business, which isn't nice.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what he looks like or anything.
And this is the building beside of the old hotel. Is that the building
Yes,
we're talking about?
yes.
Okay. Yeah.
And it's, there's a 2-story. What used to be there? Oh my gosh, what used to be there? One of my kids would know what was in that building. And then we were really shocked that the bike shop is closed.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know why?
There's a distillery going in, but I don't know why the...
Yeah, I think the value of the building for what the bike shop owner bought it for back in the day and what he got for it now, I think was just his, I would say, early retirement plan.
Okay.
Just because of the value of real estate, specifically in downtown Waxhaw.
I don't remember what used to be there. I wish I could remember. I don't think that he's rented anything at that place next to the old hotel.
Yeah, the hair salon is still there.
Where?
In that building next to the hotel. Because it's on the one corner, the one wing. And then you got the 2-story middle section, and then the 1-story beside the
The
alley.
knitting place, Tangles.
Tangles is adjacent to there too. Yeah.
Tangles has the best yarn. No, Tangles, those people, they live here. One of them lives in a little red house back in that area over there. There's so many people here that have done so many things that I'm thinking of. I can't think of her name, but that was really big back in the day. When a friend of mine who's passed away, his brother built the first. What are the big motels and hotels that you see everywhere when you're traveling?
Like name brand wise, I don't know. I think of like Days Inn or.
Yeah, the Hilton, Marriott.
Mm-hmm. They've had a Hilton at the beach. Well, you know, but they built a motel just on the right hand side of Independence going up. But back in the day, there was nothing there, you know. And this friend of mine was so impressed, and I just, you know, it's just another. No, there's a lot of money here in Union County that's not being used properly.
Well, what do you think one thing that Waxhaw needs that we don't have?
Waxhaw has everything.
Yeah.
You know, because I don't shop at Harris Teeter. I don't have anything. That's where I get my prescriptions. But I shop at Food Lion because all the local people shop there.
Mm.
There's so many places to shop. I didn't drive. We used to have to, when we'd go out down to Simon Rogers and get the meat,
Yeah.
we'd have to walk it back to where we were living. You know.
Yeah.
But like I say, we could do all of our shopping in Waxhaw
Yeah.
on the main street.
Mm-hmm.
And somehow or other, when you're doing this, I would just wish that you could get Lola Blackburn's name in there, because she had a restaurant right next to that vacant lot. It was the gas station, was our business, and Lola Blackburn. Oh, that's one thing that my youngest son told me. And I remember that. We've lived here, like I said, 3 different times. The first time, that whole lot was vacant. But you know what a sheet of plywood looks like?
Mm-hmm.
The size of it?
Mm-hmm.
There was 4 of those, and Lola Blackburn, that's how she started a restaurant.
Oh gosh.
But I remember pulling up to that one time, and I'm thinking, oh my gosh, am I going to get food poisoning? No, she was a wonderful, wonderful person. She gave. I was so glad that I didn't know that she was dying.
Mm.
And I was one of the last people to talk to her, and I was telling her what a wonderful person she was. And she was. No, her husband would be standing. So then after that, then when we came back the next time, they had that big restaurant. But Michael can remember, because we had the business right next door. He can remember her husband standing in there, you know, and frying the food and standing, turning around and talking to all the men that were sitting there. And then they had the place, you know, where I had never been in that type of a restaurant, so I was kind of afraid to go in there. But no, we ate a lot there. It was very, very nice people.
What kind of things did she serve?
Just ordinary things.
Yeah.
I would think that he was fixing like breakfast with sausage and eggs over easy, and then at lunchtime hamburgers.
Okay.
And it was very clean. And the lady that owns that resale shop at the end of town,
Yes.
I remember her when she was that tall.
Oh.
I have never told her that, because if I go in there, I never see her.
Mm.
But did you hear about her granddaughter as a model?
Oh no.
The most gorgeous little girl you've ever seen.
Huh.
And she has cancer.
Oh.
And I always look at eyes. Animal eyes, people eyes, because that's where, when you're looking at a painting, you look at the eyes, because if the eyes are alive, so is the rest of the body. And her eyes have changed, but she's a beautiful little girl. But what her grandmother doesn't realize, her grandmother's young, but that's exactly what she looked like when she was little.
Hmm.
Oh, I'm sure she'd love to hear that.
Well, she gives a lot back to the community. I don't belong to the women's club anymore because I can't drive at night. But yes, she would do so much, bring in so many things for the women's club to give away.
Yeah. What did you do with the women's club?
What did I do?
Well, yeah. Were you just a member? Were you helping to organize events?
Oh, no, we cleaned, you know where the parking lot is now?
Yeah.
The reason the parking lot is there is because there's no parking in town. And the town said that they would asphalt that if they would let people park in there.
Mm.
And I used to pull weeds. A friend and I went up there and we worked in that little garden at the side.
Yeah.
It was absolutely gorgeous. And I would round up because I used to do that for 8 Legs too before COVID.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I would do roundup, and I'll probably start doing it again, just because that's who I am. No, have you ever been in 8 Legs?
I actually have not. No. Oh no! Wait, I have. Yes, I went last summer.
See, I park in the back and then just walk up that ramp and go in the back, and then the young lady that does the artwork in the front, she is one of the nicest young women you'd ever meet, and she has a lady that works with her, and I was in there the other day, and I can't think of the lady's name that helps her, but she's been there for years.
Oh wow.
So when I'm on Facebook and if they put share on there, I share everything with all the new people that have moved here
Oh yeah.
because I know so many people. So 8 Legs, she has classes. You'd love that class. She gives you a square piece of clear glass, and then you'd pick out all of these little tiny pieces of glass, different colors and different shapes, and put them on there any way you want. And then they're glued down, gently glued down, and then she puts them in the kiln. You know what a kiln is?
Yeah.
So she puts them in there upside down because those little pieces are glued to it. So when you bring it out, you either have a little bowl or you have a glass.
Oh neat.
No, we took my great-grandsons down there several years ago, and they had a wonderful time. But it's amazing when you see that, even little children, you know, I'm thinking, my one great-grandson, I don't care for those colors, but it's not mine. No, I don't collect that sort of thing, so I gave it away to somebody, probably one of my grandchildren. But no, and they're doing classes now that I advertise for them, but they need to be advertised because, and her husband does framing in the back. He's framed everything that I've ever had framed here.
Oh nice.
It's he's one of the well, because I love to go in there and tease him. So I love to give people a hard time, but yeah, they're super nice people.
Excellent.
But that used to be just a regular house that people lived in.
It looks like it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, in all your travels and wherever that you lived, what set Wax Off as being different? I mean, you stayed here. You love it here.
No, we've lived here 3 times.
Yeah.
My husband was a fabulous knitter on a knitting machine. But he didn't take crap from anybody. And there was a man in there that came to work in the area where the women sew. So he would be the one that took care of the machines. And I don't know what he did, but my husband quit and we moved. And probably went to Massachusetts or upstate New York, I don't remember, or South Carolina. And then in the knitting business, they have a little booklet that all the knitters can have, and you look up in there where they need help on the knitting machines. And my husband, honestly, could do anything with a knitting machine.
Okay.
That's probably my youngest son. I'll be right back.
Okay. Sell out. So people do want to hear it.
I'm all for protecting the people, the original people here. And so I'm sure that was a big sellout because all the people, the new people,
yeah.
have come in. Like there was somebody shot at the mill. This was long before our time, and they never found out who did it. And they've talked about that at different times. I just, we're very fortunate. I was not happy when my husband bought this property. We are very fortunate to be here. Yeah. And the schools were horrible.
Mm.
But my two granddaughters that lived, they did live behind me. My one granddaughter does. They went to schools here, and they got good grades. But when my husband drove Sherry back up to New York, it took her a long time to catch up.
Yeah.
So, nope, I love where I live.
Well, we're coming in on the close. Is there any story or person you want to acknowledge before we...
Lola Blackburn, Don Gardner, and Haskell Ergel. Haskell, I didn't know him for years and years and years. And I walked right by his house because we lived on Olin Drive. He was one of the nicest people. And Don Gardner was a good mayor. And Lola Blackburn, I knew her because they had that restaurant. And then I know where she used to live, but I was very fortunate to be one of the last people to talk to her and tell her how wonderful I thought she was. Yeah. And then I asked another lady whose great-grandfather owned Maxwell's grocery store. And I asked her if she'd rather do the interview, and she said no, that she'd rather I did it. She's younger than me. Looks a lot older. No, because I like to give everybody a chance to do something. It's not all, nothing's all about me.
Yeah.
No, she lives way out by Cane Creek. It seems I have no idea. You have no idea how many people I know that live out by Cane Creek. So I can't think of anything else.
All right. Well, we can end it there. I'll just say this is the end of the January 10th, 2023 interview with Pam Kitto and interviewer Kirsten
Pat.
Messinger. Oh, Pat, yes.
Oh,
sorry, I'm so sorry.
Well, Pam's not a bad name. No, I was invited to that town Christmas party,
Mm-hmm.
and they gave us that flashlight.
Yeah.
Did you ever see that?
No.
Well, I'm telling you, I've got it right in here. I'll bring it right out.